Welcome viewers, and thanks for joining Hidden Files. On this channel, we take a closer look at stories that didn't get enough attention or that slowly faded out of the spotlight. Each episode, we open up a different hidden file and explore what's behind it. Today, we're starting with the first file in this series, the Epstein case, a story surrounded by power, money, and hidden connections, and one that still isn't fully understood. This is the first episode of our Epstein series. Let's begin. Epstein's story begins in Brooklyn. He grew up in a regular family with a life and environment no different from any other kid. After high school, he enrolled in college but left before finishing. Still, his interest in science and math led him to teach at private schools for a while. Back then, no one could have predicted that the young man explaining lessons in a classroom would one day become one of the most controversial figures in the world of finance. After teaching, Epstein suddenly shifted into the finance industry. Despite not having a college degree, he landed a job at an investment bank through a few connections he had made. And here's where things get interesting. He rose through the ranks incredibly fast, far faster than what would normally be possible, from small roles to important meetings, and then to critical positions, all within a short period. How he pulled that off is still a lingering question. Following this rapid climb, Epstein started his own financial firm. Epstein Company quickly attracted wealthy clients, and as his power and circle grew, so did the number of unanswered questions surrounding him. After his rapid rise, it didn't take long for the spotlight to find him. Suddenly, he was showing up at gala events, invited to speak on big stages, standing next to powerful people who wanted to hear what he had to say. But all that attention came with a price. And behind closed doors, in the quiet of his office, the pressure started to catch up with him. He was trying to keep it all together, while the weight on his shoulders kept getting heavier. As Epstein's fortune kept exploding, the whole thing started to look strange. People knew he was well connected, sure, but the scale of his wealth didn't match the work he claimed to do. And when you asked around, no one could give a straight answer. Not investors, not clients, not even people who said they'd worked with him. That's when the rumors began to spread. Late-night meetings in luxury hotels, private conversations in back rooms, faces you'd normally see on the news walking in and out without saying a word. It wasn't just business deals anymore. It felt like a network operating off the record. And somehow, Epstein always came out of these meetings with more money, more influence, and more doors opening for him. But with all that power building up so fast, the questions got louder. Who was backing him? Why was he being protected? And what was really happening behind those closed doors? The first complaints about Epstein didn't make headlines at all. They started quietly. A few reports, a few investigators asking questions, nothing major. But every time someone tried to push the case forward, something strange happened. Files went missing, calls stopped being returned, and people who were eager to talk suddenly went silent. It was clear the investigation had begun, but it was just as clear that someone didn't want it to go any further. When the 2008 case finally reached court, everyone expected a major trial, but instead, everything took a sudden turn. Behind closed doors, Epstein walked away with a secret deal, a deal so unusual that even legal experts were stunned. It reduced his sentence, protected powerful names, and kept most details hidden from the public. And the more people learned about this agreement, the more it felt like justice had been negotiated, not served. In 2019, the Epstein case suddenly exploded back into the spotlight. Federal agents reopened the investigation, seized his properties, and for the first time, it felt like the truth might finally come out. But just weeks later, he was found dead in his cell, under circumstances so unusual that the public immediately questioned everything. Cameras weren't working, guards were asleep, and details kept changing. And after his death, the documents that surfaced raised even more questions. Names, logs, secret meetings, clues pointing to a network much bigger than Epstein himself. And to this day, one question still hangs in the air. How deep did this really go? And who else knew the truth? The rest of the story continues in episode 2.